the Nobel Peace Prize is a heck of a model. So I said, why don't we do that?
Dawn Hooper, Conflict Resolution Institute.
Polly Davis, Conflict Resolution Institute.
And Bill Lincoln at CRI. Well, it really started off in terms of, well, it's a long history, but we started off in terms of really wanting to intervene and stop wars between nations. And we wanted to stop the tragedies happening in the communities. And then we wanted, a big part of it is, okay, if we're good at that, let's enable others to do the same. But our whole motto was, if you have a motto, is that it was in terms of civility and conflict and equity and resolution. And that's what we lived by. And it was pretty tough stuff that we got into, but it worked.
The civility piece, when we went into these countries, it was from the frame of, this is how we do it with our nonprofit in terms of conflict resolution. We'll start with a model and then have you tailor it and modify it to meet the cultural needs of the countries where we were. So I think we were modeling civility in that we were not coming in and saying, this is what you have to do all the time. And we were constantly stopping and adjusting and asking for further information and clarification from the people that we worked with. So then when we left with a model that was applicable for their situation.
And from even before CRI had formed, there were projects that were being worked on and some experience that was being built, and establishing the kinds of relationships where we weren't imposing solutions, but going in, bringing the skills we had, working in partnership, kind of cultivating a program that would really reflect the conflict resolution skills that existed within the country with the people that we were working with. And so it was a very systems change, adapted approach.
And we said, this may not apply to you, but we want to share what we do, right or wrong, okay? And you tailor it in terms of what works for yourself and develop your own curricula.
I think another success that we've achieved was that we didn't go in and do training like a puppy mill. Oh, we trained 500 people, we trained 1,000 people. We went in and we went deep. We would go in for a couple-year commitment. We would be working with several institutions, mostly graduate level or university programs. In Central America, we worked with the Human Rights Ombudsman offices. So we would go in and we would build enduring relationships, and then from that we would begin to help support greater learning and education after we left. Well, I think when we talk about civility and conflict, I mean, what we teach when we do trainings for the Alternative Dispute Resolution Program in King County, we teach that conflict is a way of life, and you get a couple people together, there's going to inevitably be conflict, and how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that in a civil and equitable way? How do you ask questions to learn people's interests, their perspectives? How do you address the fact that yours might be different and yet you're still going to be moving together in the world? So I think that we laid the groundwork for that in a lot of areas. And I remember many trainings in many different countries where people would come up and just be like, I learned something from you today and I'm going to be able to carry that forward. And I think that's really powerful.